We're all scared of many things. Some of us are scared of spiders, while some are scared of clowns, and some are even scared of fish. But me? I am scared of a lot of things. Like, a lot of things. So let's go through them, shall we? I am scared of chickens, mermaids, Legos on the floor, Taylor Swift ticket prices, the ACT, and the state of Ohio. But my biggest fear of all, by far, is debate kids. I mean, they're just terrifying for two reasons. First of all, they speak extremely fast, like excruciatingly fast, that there is no difference between this photo of famous rapper Eminem and this debate kid. I mean, even Pam from The Office agrees. But the second reason is that they use big words like resolution and solvency and affirmation. What is that even supposed to mean? But we have to ask the question, why? And no, not why am I scared of debate kids, we'll get into that in a second. But why do we fear? So in order to understand my existential crisis of fear in debate kids and the ACT, we will first go over the background onto what is fear. Next, go into its application throughout human history and the modern day. And last, but definitely not least, look at the implication that fear has on everybody in this world. So, what is fear? According to the Cambridge Dictionary, fear is an unpleasant emotion or thought that you have when you are scared or worried that something dangerous, painful, or bad may happen, or is happening. So, let's apply some of my fear to debate kids. Now, as we all are clearly aware of, I am excruciatingly terrified of debate kids because I know that they are really, really, really smart, but also really, really, really evil. Try and manipulate their own opponents and even the judge to help them win no matter the cost. So, I'm having the unpleasant emotion that when I see the debate kid, I'm going to be scared because something dangerous is going to happen to me. That they are trying to gaslight me and manipulate me into taking whatever position that they want me to take, no matter the cost. But now that we know what is fear, how does it work biologically? Well, fear starts in your head, and I mean that quite literally. Now, this is a picture of your brain. Now, ignore everything that's, in white and gray. That stuff controls your vision, your memory, your temperature, and literally every single other aspect of your life, the dumb stuff. Now, look at the part that I can really highlight blue. I'm joking, of course. I googled it. But this part of your brain is called the amygdala, and is the fear center of our brain. According to WebMD, the amygdala deals with complex emotions such as fear, but is only around the size of an almond, yet is part of our temporal lobe and pretty much dictates how our emotions work. But the second part of fear is the fight or flight, where our body will be sent different signals from the amygdala to change different parts, our body, such as pupil dilation, increased heart rate, or breathing starting to accelerate. Other changes may occur, such as, for example, when people are scared of heights, when they look down from a massive building, they oftentimes feel their stomach drop. That is because our body is getting prepared for whatever situation we are about to be in order to preserve and increase our chances at survival. But there's another part to the story, in another part of our brain, two parts specifically, our hippocampus and our prefrontal cortex. According to Johns Hopkins Medicine, our hippocampus deals with more of memory, learning, and navigation of the space around you, versus our prefrontal cortex, according to KenHub, a medical site, deals with more of reasoning, social cohesion, personality, and decision-making. According to an article written by Smithsonian Magazine in 2019 titled, "What Happens in the Brain When We Fear?" These two parts of our brain work together, along with the amygdala, in order to decipher whatever is causing us to be scared and create the best decision possible in order to maximize our chances at survival. But overall, why do we fear? Well, Dr. Paul Elkman, a psychologist, gives us the answer that we experience fear due to a threat of harm, real or imagined, and this fear does not have a limit. It can be social, psychological, emotional, or physical. And inherently, this is consistent with our ancient human ancestors when, respectfully, they lived in the middle of nature where, respectfully, everything was trying to kill them. And according to psychology today, this is confirmed, as during their time, they have been threatened with life or death situations where they have felt the emotion fear. And fundamentally, As we saw already, they lived in the middle of nature, and they had more threats in their lives every single day. We were scared that a lion would just come out of nowhere and bite us in our ankle, or that this snake would just come out of nowhere and poke us in the middle of the night. Okay, now I'm starting to realize that nature is a real jerk. But we are also scared of things that could potentially harm us. That is why we are scared of the dark, because we do not know what is in there. Because we do not know what's in there, it could be anything, and our imagination runs wild. It could be Spider-Man, Santa Claus, a killer clown, or the Krusty Krab secret formula. You don't know. And you never will. Unless, of course, you turn the lights on. In that case, that kind of takes away all, the spooky stuff. But you do you. But we also fear on a social level. Because for our ancient ancestors, social cohesion was absolutely vital during that time. Because we relied on each other for absolutely everything. Every member of the community had a role to play. And fundamentally, if we got severed from that community, we potentially risked our lives. That is why we are scared of anything that could be causing us to be looked down upon. Because for our ancient ancestors, it was a matter of life or death. Because anything could have happened. From being exiled, to being ridiculed, to being hurt, to even being killed. And that is what we see today as well. That is why people are scared to share true parts of their identity. That is why people are scared to come out of the closet. That is why people are scared to give their true opinions. Because we are scared. And for some people, that is a matter of life or death. But as a whole, fear has changed a lot. A lot. Because our world has also changed a lot. No longer have our common fears been being scared of tigers, bears, and hippos. But today, we are scared of more pressing matters in our world. That being the threat of mass shootings, the threat of war, and the rapid destruction of our climate. Because our world has adapted, but the function of fear has remained the same. That is to survive. Because our world and the application of fear has changed dramatically. Because no longer are we being hunted by tigers. Rather, children are being hunted in our own schools. No longer are we scared of sharks, because the leaders of multiple countries are now threatening each other with absolute destruction. And no longer are we scared of woolly mammoths, because our very own environment is being destroyed upon our very own eyes. Yet, the purpose of fear, no matter how much fear itself has changed, will always, and always has been, the same. But fear is not a static emotion. Far from it. It was a motivator to our ancient ancestors when we were running away from tigers, and is a motivator to us to take action. And there's no better example than the March for Our Lives movement, which has been making strides in America, which is a student-led organization trying to curb gun violence in the United States, which according to KFF, an independent polling and research journalism organization, firearms are now the leading cause of death for children ages 1 through 17, killing more than motor accidents and cancer. Yet, the March for Our Lives movement has been making strides, with over 20 new state laws being built to fight gun violence, and the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act being the first piece of bipartisan legislation for gun reform since 1994. For them, they are in a fight or flight, and they are tired of running. Because fear is at the center of this issue, and they are tired of being scared. So, what does this implicate? Fear, as a whole, is rooted in the instinct to survive. And fear is not a bad or good emotion, but a necessary one. One that affects all of us. It affects me because when my mom leaves the house, I know that I immediately need to defrost the chicken, because I know that if I forget, I'll put my survival at risk. But as a whole, it affects all of us. It is the most universal emotion in this world. It affects you and me. But it's up to us onto what we do with that fear, including debate kids.